Well, look at this. You're here and I'm pleased because I really dig your company. Hey guys, it's me, Danny, and you're listening to the Just Saying podcast. Okay, y'all, Happy New Year. The year has started. We are a couple weeks in already. I hope y'all are getting comfortable in the new year. Some of y'all have already or are getting ready to do your vision board parties and doing them. I've heard people say they're doing vision books this year. Some people are just doing like vision screens on their phone. It's a lot of stuff going on. I personally am not a vision board person, only because I feel like it's too broad. Like if I would like a group that does a vision board every quarter. Like let's vision for the quarter and then really manifest these goals. You know what I'm saying? But I can't get no people together to do it. So, have fun at y'all vision parties. Y'all vision board parties. I'm not against the vision board parties for other people. Just like I tried, y'all. I decided that I was going to try journaling. For Christmas, somebody gave me a journal. I have never had a journal before. I wasn't a diary girl when I was growing up. I don't have a diary now. And so somebody thought, hey, maybe you should try journaling. So I was like, okay, they gave me the journal. The first couple days I was in, like, let me write in my journal. But you know what, y'all? I don't get it. And everybody keeps trying to explain it to me. So I know you want to be like, it's very simple. There aren't really rules. You could do whatever. But I'm just like, who am I writing this for? Because I'm not a person who would feel like I want to go back and read what I wrote. Because right now, honestly, y'all, I ain't writing nothing worth rereading. Like, I don't know what to put in it. And so I think my thoughts out very deeply during the day. Like when I'm walking around, cause I have a new job, and my new job is very physical, and I walk a lot. I get about, excuse me, y'all. Oh, that was rude. Or was it? I'm just tired. Okay, I get between 11,000 and 18,000 steps per day. So I do a lot of walking, which means I really, assess myself during the day and all my thoughts and things, because that's what I do all day. I don't really talk to a lot of people still. My last job, I didn't talk to nobody all day. Now I talk to people, but it's still not a lot, which is good for me. But I'm in my head. I think about my thoughts a lot. I have very deep, meaningful conversations with a friend of mine. And so when I go to journal, I'm just like, I don't know what to put in this thing. What I have found is that a lot of what's in my journal is a lot of negativity, and I don't like that. I don't like that the only thing that I feel like I have left is, what things I don't like, what I haven't seen. And maybe somebody's going to be like, well, that maybe that's what you need to focus on, whatever. But I just like to think out and process what I got going on all day. So then when I get to this journal thing, I'm just like, well, who's going to read this? What is this for? And so I would say that I'm not good at journaling. I'm not saying journaling isn't good. I think that I'm not good at it. I think that I have not, figured out how to do it. And again, I know everybody's like, there's not a how, like you just write in there your thoughts. But the thoughts that I end up writing in there, I've been writing, y'all, I be like, I don't even know what to put. I don't even know what I put in there. Cause let's see. Let me see what I got going on. Oh, I did write about, one time when I first got there, one of my coworkers had invited me out. But the thing about that was, first of all, I'd never been invited out by a coworker before because, like I said, for the last, 13 years, I've literally pretty much worked by myself. Like, there weren't coworkers around. I didn't see people. And so this coworker was like, hey, come out. But they invited me out to a bar, y'all, and I don't go to bars. Like, I'm just not a bar person. And so when they invited me out to the bar, I was just like, oh, I was gonna go out like that. I don't go to places like that. And then I felt bad because I didn't want to, make it seem like I was downing the fact that they go to bars. I mean, go wherever you want to go. It's not a place for me. So I was so uncomfortable about that whole situation. But I did write that. But I think that's the only meaningful one, like writing about how I felt about feeling bad that I didn't want them to feel judged by what they do. Other than that, the journal just be like, oh, my legs hurt. Oh, I'm tired today. Oh, like I don't even have a full page worth of stuff. I be skipping lines. Like I don't know what to put in there. So if you want to have, what's so bad about it, y'all? I went to YouTube to watch a couple videos. I only watched 2 videos on how to journal because I was just like, I'm not doing this right. So y'all, the new year starting off good, but I'm trying to get it together. So I hope you all are getting it together. I hope that it's coming to the vision is coming to you. And if the vision for this year hasn't come to you yet, it just January. You still got time, and you don't have to get stuck to what you vision now. Doesn't have to remain the vision for the year. The vision can change at any time. So never be so stuck on what you think it is today that tomorrow can't shift for you. Oh, that's a little word. Y'all, somebody write that down. Never get stuck on what you think is supposed to be today that tomorrow can't shift for you. Y'all, I'm about to post it. Hold on. If you have been listening to the last couple of episodes at the end of last year, then you know that I have been doing this series called Life in the Middle Ages, where I center Black women who, speak about their experiences as middle-aged women. For me, this series went pretty well, and I would like to continue it, but I just would, I'm either going to do a full episode once a month, or I'm going to do a segment once a month, because trying to get the women that I personally know to come out of their shell a little bit has been difficult for me. So I've been reaching out to a broader audience, I've been trying to have a broader reach of the women that I speak to. And so, just scheduling, coordinating because of the time and the availability of people, and, getting people to really want to talk about their experiences has not been as easy as I thought it would be for myself. But I'm still into it. So I do have someone lined up. We will be starting that back up in February. So I do have someone lined up to have a conversation, starting in February. If you are a woman who is of color who would like to speak about some their experiences as a middle-aged woman, please reach out to me. JusSayin podcast, JusSayin podcast @gmail.com. And let's see. I'm vetting a lot of people, so I would like to see if you might fit in, because I really think that the other day I was listening to a podcast that had Taraji P. Henson as a guest. Taraji P. Henson herself, who is in her 50s, I believe she's early 50s. If she hasn't turned 50 yet, she's like 48, 49. She was speaking about, first of all, she was crying about how she's just tired of being the one responsible for everything and everybody. And, she just needs for herself. And I'm looking for some Black women to be just as vulnerable, okay? About lots of things. I would like to talk about, self-care, centering yourself, regaining yourself now that your children are older, dating, sex, career, all of these type of things, but not surface. Like, I don't want to do surface. Like, give me deep. Give me your for real feelings. That's what I'm trying to have, because I hear so many women say, nobody talk about, nobody told me about. One of the things that I know growing up is I didn't have anybody in my family who spoke about, like, relationships. And so the only thing I knew about relationships was whatever I saw pattern from my very unhealthy parents. I did grow up in a 2-parent household up until the time I was about 15, but their relationship was not healthy at all. He was not physically abusive. My dad was not physically abusive, but he was abusive in other ways. And so, I didn't see, and I didn't see anybody else in a relationship. To be honest with you, like, all my friends, not all my friends, but a good majority of my friends did grow up in 2-parent households, but I didn't see none of them that seemed happy to me. Okay. Now, I will say that most of my friends who I grew up with, their parents are still married, but I couldn't see how those households ran. I just saw them when our parents got together, and those was, party nights when the drinks came out. So I don't really know what happened, how the dynamics work. But in my family, my parents were the only family that I knew that were the only couple I knew. My aunt, my aunts and uncles were not married. One was married, but he lived in a whole nother state, and sometimes he didn't even live in the country. So I never saw how that worked. So I didn't know what relationships were. I didn't know how to pattern the relationships I saw was like Martin and Gina, Cal and Pam. Like, I don't know who were the real, relationships that you saw that I saw. And so I didn't have anybody talking about relationships with me. I didn't have anybody talking about finances with me. I didn't know anything about, like, what it meant to pay a bill. Like, I knew that bills existed. I wasn't one of those kids. I did know that bills existed, but where do you go to pay them? How do you do them? I didn't know how life worked. And I was set out into life not knowing a thing, and I was a mother already, because I was a mother before I was an adult. So, like, I was behind the line on lots of things, and now I'm trying to rediscover myself, and I feel like there are other people who have had similar experience to me, and I would like to speak to people who have not had similar experiences as me, so that we could just, come together and learn in this new stage. Every stage of life is a learning process, and I believe that we need to learn. One of the women that I have lined up is a woman who is talking about menopause. Now, I know we've had the menopause talk on here before, but this woman is talking about it in a different way, not to downplay the menopause talk we had before, because it was a very good menopause talk. But I saw this woman on the internet, and when I saw her on the internet, I felt like she was very interesting in some of the rest of the next, to big piggyback on what we had conversation on before. I would like to piggyback on a lot of the conversations that we already had to add to them. You know what I mean? And so I just want to continue this conversation, because when I know that the celebrity women are talking about it, I know that I could talk about it. Why can't I find some more people who I can relate to? I don't, not that I don't relate to Taraji because she's a Black woman, she's in her, middle ages, all those things, but she rich. I would like to talk to some non-rich people about how they deal with some of these things, because one of the things about Taraji's interview was that because she was in such a place, she is in such a place and feeling how she is feeling, she's taking a month and going to living in Bali. And my life don't have that. So how do women who live closer to me deal with the ever changings of life? All the new stages, empty nesting, maybe divorce, maybe remarrying, all those things. How do we deal with those things? And so we will continue the Life in the Middle Ages series. So keep looking out for that. And anybody who has been listening thus far, or who has been an interviewee, who has been I don't interview, so anybody who's had a conversation with me, thank you very much. And if you would like to come back on, please to me, and we can get that scheduled as well. What do you think about a dating questionnaire? The other day, it came out that I think it came out on Twitter. There were some people on a dating app. I believe it was Hinged, but I don't know. And you're not gonna find it. I think they pretty much swiped it off the internet, or you got to find somebody who has it. Anyway, um, there were two people connected on Hinge. The man asked the woman if she wanted to, have a phone conversation. The woman said, sure, I'm interested in that, but I would like for you to answer this questionnaire first, and then we can get to the chit chat. And the guy was like, questionnaire? Where are they doing that? So, she sent the questionnaire to him. I don't believe that he answered the questions, but he did post the questionnaire on Twitter, and the people captured it. Like I said, I didn't find the actual questionnaire, but I did find some posts that had some of the questions. So let's get into what was on there. One of the questions was, what are your dating goals? Now, I like this, what are your dating goals, because it lets me know, are you just out here just trying to meet a lot of people, which is not a problem, or are you just on here just for, you're looking to try to get married? Like, what are your goals? Long term, short term, trying to have some fun, just kicking it, trying to add up, numbers. What you doing? And another one was, do you believe in marriage? Because a lot of times people do, people get together and then they realize the person they date and don't ever want to get married. They don't ever want to do it, And so, do you believe in it? If you believe in it, do you believe it is for you? Now, again, I always feel like this. Do I believe in a thing that exists? Like, how can you not believe in marriage? Marriage exists. Do you believe that marriage works for you? Is a good question. So that's on there. Do you have kids? Do you want kids? Because you do have to ask people, because people don't always come out and tell you they have children. Sometimes you got to ask, like, do you have those things? And asking also, do you want children, is a big thing, because there are lots of people, men and women, who do not want children. And let's talk about that now, because if I'm a person who does want children, I really don't want to date a person who doesn't want children. I should not spend the rest of my life trying to convince you to want what I want. I should, take you out of my possibilities because we don't match up. And if you are a person who does want, who doesn't want children, you want to know that. Like, I don't be looking at me to give you no kids, because I never have. I don't plan on ever having kids. So I think that's a good one as well. They also had, what is your highest level of education? And what is your current financial and or employment status? Sometimes, and I know this, is that people will make you believe that they are like, I'm about to get. I remember, back in the day when people would say like I'm in between things. That means you're unemployed. It may, for a lot of people back then anyway, it did mean that you are unemployed. So can you tell me, do you have a job? Because I need to know. Can you tell me, are you out here? Some people want to know, are you drowning in debt? I need to know that, because that might mean that you might be looking for some loans from me and I ain't got it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if we should ask that in the very beginning, but I do see that could be a question during the dating process. How would you describe your living status? And let me tell you, yes, with the claps, let me tell you, it's a lot of people who really need to ask this question, because people do not know that, it's important to, especially, it seems like a lot of, well, I don't know, because I don't be out here dating like that. But from what I hear, it seems like a lot of men do not understand that you probably should tell the woman that you're talking to now that you're living with your baby mama. You know what I'm saying? That you living with her. Y'all still live together, even though I used to have a friend. I promise you, I used to have a friend, and he would be living with a woman that he has a child with, and still be saying, she think we together, but we not. We ain't never been together. And I would be like, you live with her. You carry out household functions. Like you taking out the garbage, you help pay, you give her money for one of the bills or something, like you put in requests for groceries, you sleep in her bed, you take her kids to school. He's still like, so we ain't never talked about being no couple. We ain't no couple. That's what she thinks. Well, but if she thinks that, why don't you clarify it? Oh, she good. She good thinking it. And I would be like, dang, like these people be out here. So you do need to ask, what is your living situation and what is your current relationship status? Is there, this one ain't on the list, but I always tell my people to say, even if you think you're not in a relationship, is there somebody who thinks they're in a relationship with you? Because that's important. Let's keep going. If you had a LGBTQ plus child, how would you handle them coming out? For a lot of people, that's serious, because some people want to know, if I'm against it, you need to be against it. If I'm for it, you need to be for it. What's our house going to look like? Because I don't want to be fighting with you and my child later on in life because I want to kick that child out and you want them to stay. Or I want that child to stay and you want to kick them out. Either way, I need to know now. Now, I don't know what her stance is on it, but I know that she wanted to know what his was on it so that she can know if they were compatible, okay? I think that a lot of these were multiple choice or like pick all that apply. So there were lots of, things underneath it. Of course, with highest level education, your current employment status, describe your living situation. All of them was like owns a home, own rent, live alone, own rent, live with somebody, live with a family member, other. It was stuff like that. So in this one, it also was like love my child unconditionally, force my child to leave my house, deal with it as it comes, and I think it was something else, I don't remember. The next one is, are you a person of faith, and if so, which one? And then again, it listed a couple of them, and then it said other. I also think that's important, because I know a lot of times we just assume that because people are of a certain nationality or because they speak similar to us, that they believe as we do is in faith and or not faith. But that's not true. The other day I was listening to a podcast where I found out that Quinta Brunson does not believe in Jesus. Like, I was just like, oh, I don't know why I assumed it. No, that's not lie. I assumed it because she was a black woman. And I have recently realized that I always assume that if you black, you are a Christian, right? Unless I see you with some kind of clothing that would make me go, oh, maybe they not a Christian, based off of their clothing. And then when somebody says, Quinta Brunson says she was agnostic, when somebody says that they are, Buddhist or Jewish or agnostic, I'm always just like, or atheist, I go, oh, really? I did not know that. And so, a lot of times, especially in today's age where people like to express their spirituality more than their religious, their religion, I think you have to ask, because a lot of people have decided to not go to an actual church house. And so back in the day, it would be like, oh, Sunday for church, I'm busy, I can't, I'm not available till 1 because I be at church, whatever. Now, because people can watch it online at any time, you don't even know if they go into church, so if you are a person of whatever faith, you might want to know what faith the other people who are interested in you or you are interested in, what faith that is, because there are a lot of clashes. I know people be like, you could be in more than one faith and be in a family and be happy or whatever, and I'm sure that can happen in some instances, but I'm also very aware that is a big clash for a lot of people. So you might want to ask that. Let's keep moving. This one says, have you been to therapy? I want to also add on to that one as well. Do you believe that therapy is effective. Because, I know that I believe that, we all should get a little bit of therapy. But there are other people who just feel like, for what? Like, I feel like I'm good. My feelings, and you're like, but I know you just had some traumas. If you black in this world, you had some type of traumas. You don't want to talk to nobody about that? Do you got a life coach then? Like, what you doing? And so, maybe have you been to therapy? Maybe not. But would you like to go? Oh, okay. Because I haven't been to therapy for real yet, but I'm still trying to find a therapist. It ain't easy out here in these streets in my city to find the black therapist that I'm looking for. If anybody knows, please connect with me. Another question is, are you close with your family? Now, that one is very serious, because a lot of people have gone through a family break, and that does not mean that they are toxic. It could mean that they grew up in households that weren't the healthiest, and they had to break away from that. But can you verbalize that? Can you give words to why you are not really close with your family? If somebody was trying to date me, they would hear me say, no, I'm not that close with my family. I don't hang out with anybody in my family. I didn't grow up with a lot of people in my family. Like my cousins, I have a lot of cousins. I talk to them on social media. I have never hung out with them. And because we have never hung out, I really don't see when somebody would decide to call me to be like, hey, hang out with us. They don't know me like that. They just know my social media me. And, I saw one of my cousins recently, like last month, in person for the first time in years, like since we was little at a family reunion, okay? When I tell you the embrace that she gave me, I could cry right now, because I hadn't had a hug in who know how long before that, and she gave me a hug like she meant it. But I'm not close with my family. So the short answer would be no. But if you want to get into a long answer, it would be because my mother had dementia. We don't have that kind of relationship that a person might think that family. My father had strokes. He doesn't talk. He cannot walk, and he was mentally abusive growing up. So we not close. My father's family, everybody is kind of estranged from everybody because there's a lot of different religions right now in my family, and everybody is, a lot of the people are a lot older, so we don't connect in the same way. So I don't know them, and my mother's family all lives out of town, so I don't know them for real either. And so it's really me and my kids. So if you talk about my kids, yes, I'm close to my kids, but other than that, no, I'm not close to my family. Does that mean that we have big fat arguments and stuff whenever we actually do come together? No, we've never really had a blow up like that. But since I'm in my 20s, but in your 20s, you be feeling yourself. You say a lot of things. You don't know how to express them in a way that might be effective for growth. But other than that, no, we don't have fights. There's not fights and stuff that break out. We just not close. So yeah, I would like to. I don't want you to give me the short answer of a yes or a no. What does that mean? Yes or no. What does that mean you're not close with your family? Another question was, can you swim? Now, this might sound crazy, but there was a question also that comes with, do you have a passport? Listen, don't tell me that you got the passport and you want to go to Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, all those things, that you can't get in the water because you can't swim. We can't do any of the water activities because you can't swim. For some people, that's very important. For other people, I want to know if you can swim because I can't swim and I don't got time for you trying to pull me out into the water because you think it's fun. I don't do that. So, and for me, I think it's important to know whether or not you can swim, because I want to know if swimming is a vulnerable place, and I want to know if you're willing to be vulnerable. And some people might not see it that way, but for me, it is. Now, that's on her list, but for me, I would like to know if you can swim too. Let me know. Also, she had one that was like toilet paper over and under. It don't matter to me. I know for a lot of y'all, that is a big thing. It don't matter to me. It doesn't. Whatever way it come out, I'm going to pull it. And whatever way it break off, I'm going to use it. That's how I feel. But I know for a lot of y'all, that is big. So for her, it was on her list. Also, what are your love languages? People might not think that's important, but it is. Because I know somebody who likes to gift in monetary ways only. They not going out and looking for nothing important. They not trying. If I say I really love X, Y, and Z, they not going to go look for X, Y, and Z. Only thing they going to do is give me some money to go get it myself. And sometimes I would like the effort. You know what I mean? And that's not even my love language. That's not even one of my higher love languages. That's their love language, and they keep speaking. They speak to me in their love language. They don't speak to me in my love language because I don't even know. I don't know if that person had ever decided to like figure out what my love language was and to really like communicate with me in it. But I know that there have been times when I would be like, I'm trying to speak my language over here, and they would be like, this the one I know, this one I use. Now, I am a person who more tries to figure out what your love language is, and then get closer to that. But if you don't know what your love language is, and then I try to speak to a love language, you may attack me because you don't even realize that's a love language. Because a lot of people think their love language is physical touch, but that's not really their love language. A lot of people think that their love language is gifts, and it's not gifts, it's really acts of service. And so if you don't know what the love languages are, you can take a love language test online. Just Google love languages, the 5 love languages. You can't just make up your own. Do the 5 love language test, find out what your highest ones are, and then read into them to see how does that work for you, because you probably would be shocked like, oh, I do like that. You might not realize it. And be honest with the questions. They're easy to answer. Most of them are easy to answer. Be honest with them. So if you don't know what your love language is, look that thing up now. And if you have a partner, ask them if they know what theirs is, and see if you have been speaking their language. Let's keep going. Oh, this one, what's your preferred method of communication? On that one, it was like text, call, FaceTime, in person, right? I know a person who, every time we talk, when I tell them that I spoke to somebody, they always be like, oh, y'all had a phone call? And I'd be like, no, it was in text. But like for me, it's the same thing. Like, if you text me for a long time, I'm good. If you call me, I'm probably, a lot of times, because people call me with like serious issues, sometimes when people call me, I just don't have the energy to talk. But text me and I'll talk to you. And then, if I see that we don't got to get way too deep, I might call you. Don't FaceTime me on a random. I don't like that. It depends. It depends on who it is. Some people, I'll take that random FaceTime. Other people, especially if you new. If you're new, don't FaceTime me, and do not think that every time we communicate it's going to be a FaceTime, because it won't. It will not. I can't. But for some people, yes. But I need to know what your preferred method is, because if I'm trying to text you and you don't want to text because you want to be a call person, I need to know that. If you're a text person and you ain't a call person, I need to know that. So I think that's good to have on here. Now this one is a who should pay on the first date. I guess that is a question, but there's only gonna be one. There's only gonna be one. I believe that whoever invites the person on the date planned on paying for that date. So that's what I believe. If I call you and say, hey, so let's meet up, let's get coffee. Now, if I say let's get coffee, I probably think that we're both going to pay. And then when we get there, I think that you should expect that you're going to pay. And then we get there at the same time, I'll cover that coffee. Well, I'm not coffee. I don't drink coffee. But I know people go on coffee dates. That's why I said that. But I don't drink no coffee. Let's not lie. I never drink it. But if we have a small date like that, I expect we both want, we both expect to pay for our whatever we're getting. And then whoever, we're there, I invited you, I pay for it. I got it covered. That's what I believe. Well, I don't know what y'all believe, but I think maybe that's when we could just have a conversation about, because I don't want to go through this whole list and then get down to on the first date who should pay, and then I say, first date, let's both, and then you mad like, even though all the rest of this stuff work, I'm not paying for no first date. Get serious. Because are you saying why don't you just be honest and say, I do not believe in paying on the first date? Why don't you just be honest of that? And instead of asking who should pay, just say, I don't believe in that. I don't think that I should ever have to pay. I'm a woman. I don't think I should ever have to pay on the first date. There's a lot of women who believe like that. I'm not one of them. But, a lot of people do. So just say that instead of setting the other person up to see if they get the right answer. You know what I'm saying? Just tell them, I don't pay for first dates. So if you want to meet me, the first date will definitely be on you. But then be honest. Do you plan on paying for any of these dates? Because there's some people there's some women I know for sure who don't think that they should ever have to pay for dates. Like if we go out, it's always on you in the dating process. So be honest about that. Don't ask a question. Just be honest and tell them what you really feel. Now, other things were, what is a unskippable album? What's your top 3 albums in rotation right now? What are your top 3 TV shows? What's your favorite 2 movies? It was things like that. That I don't know if that's going to help me pick a partner. But I do know that if somebody says to me like, oh, I don't watch TV, I don't watch movies, I never seen a movie, I don't know no movie, that for me is kind of like, how? I don't understand. But, and anybody be like, oh, I don't listen to music, I don't really listen to music, I don't like no songs, I don't like no artists, I don't like nothing. I'm just kind of like, for me, how? Because if y'all been here, y'all know I love a song. I love some music. Okay, almost every episode, I sing a little bit of something. Don't judge my voice, but I will find something to sing about because music is my life. Music is life. It's like Chipotle for other people. Like it's my life. I listen to music all the time. When I'm at work, I'm listening to music. When I'm on the way to work, I'm listening to music. If I'm not, I'm listening to a podcast. I know. If a movie come out, if it's like, a black movie, I probably seen it, or I'm probably about to see it. TV shows, I probably tried one episode of it at least. I'm up on pop culture, so if you trying to date me, you should know some of that stuff, just so that you get a conversation with me. Like, at least be like, oh yeah, I heard of that, I saw it, I didn't really like it, but to never check out anything that I'm interested in, I just don't feel like, then are you putting in effort to know me? So I don't think that I would judge you very much on what your tops are. Now, I do believe that if your tops are completely away from any genre of music that I would listen to, I don't know what we will talk about. And if you don't listen to anything that I listen to and I don't listen to anything that you listen to, then we probably would not watch any of the same television shows, which means we probably would not watch any of the same movies. And so it would, I don't know what our conversations would look like on a daily, but let's figure it out. I'll listen to something that somebody sent it to me, because my kids be sending me all kinds of songs and I'd be like, who the hell is this? But I'll listen right quick, and then I make a decision. Do I add this? Do I don't add this to my, to my library? So I guess, even though I don't think they would be deal breakers, I would be interested in knowing what your interests are. I also would like to know, what's one of the, most adventurous activities you've tried, and what is something that you would really like to do given time, money, and opportunity? What is something that you would like to do? Like, I'd like to know what's your far-reaching dreams? Not that that's the farthest you could go, but what's the farthest you can think right now? I just want to know what it is. You don't have to be working on it. I would like to know what it is, though. Like, where do you see yourself if you didn't see yourself right here? That type of thing. But what do y'all think about this questionnaire? I think for me, it's very interesting. I don't know if I would want to throw it out there before we even have a conversation. I think that I would want to have a conversation with you first, and then maybe I could throw some of these in, maybe be more skilled at tossing these questions at a person to see if they can, to see how they answer them, instead of sending it off like, it's a job resume, because I think that might throw a couple people off. But I would be interested in getting the answers to these questions, and I so maybe a good one or two conversations, and because in the conversation you could be like, so when you cleaning your bathroom, do you what you listen to? Like, do you do a Saturday morning cleanup like back in the day when your parents used to, when you're an adult, whoever raised you, because a lot of us live with our grandma, whoever raised you, did they do like the Saturday morning cleanup, throwing that good music? And if so, whenever you clean your house, do you throw on music? Oh, okay. What you listen to? Like, I would hit it like that. Oh, so when you clean that bathroom, is it like Fabuloso, or is you using Mr. Clean? Like, then you just be like, so are you a over or under toilet paper person? You know what I mean? Like, you could throw it in there like that. Ow, okay. Where's the craziest place you've ever visited? Where's the best place for you that you've ever visited? If somebody tell you, they might give you this thing where you can be like, oh, okay, so that means they got a passport. You can get those kind of things. And if you don't hear anything, then you can say, have you ever been out the country? Would you go out the country? If I said, let's go to the country next month, would you be able to go? Like, meaning, like, do you have a passport? Are you willing to buy a passport? Like, those kind of questions you can ask without, sounding stuck up or snobbish or anything like that, because a lot of people I know feel like, oh, somebody said they got a passport. You come from a certain community. Sometimes people do feel like that. But I feel like you can ask all of these questions without, in conversation, without having to be drilled about them. If somebody asks me like, oh, so who you live with right now? Or, I always like to ask, I'm saying always like I really do DMs is dry, empty. Don't worry about it. If you're trying to find me over there, you can. But I do ask people, like, is there anybody who thinks they're in a relationship with you? One thing that used to be the telltale, if somebody, every time they talk to you, it sounds like they in the bathroom. Don't be in the bathroom talking to me. Go out the bathroom. Can you sit in your living room and talk to me? Can you sit on the bed and talk to me? Are you in the kitchen and you can talk to me? And anybody who can only talk to you at a certain time of day. And I know you'd be like, well, what if they can't talk to you any other time of day because they at work? You know what I'm talking about. Y'all who know, those who know, okay? And those who don't, I guess you lucky. Like, you can not sneak, but you can put these questions in conversation, and they may not sound so harsh, because I definitely, I also believe, I don't know which one of these I don't think you can sneak into a conversation. Or not sneak. Don't sneak. Don't be sneaky about it. Just in your conversation with people, put them in there. I'm a little bit still turned off that you want me to answer a questionnaire about these things, that you can't find a way to have a conversation with me and pull these answers out of me. I like, what's your communication skills like? That's the thing, because that for me, now thinking about it, it makes me feel a little bit leery of how your communication skills are as a whole. If you have to make me answer a questionnaire first, that you couldn't figure out how to have a conversation and fit these questions into conversation with me. But how do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about this questionnaire? Would you answer the questionnaire? Are any of these questions that you thought that, about asking anybody? And if not, what are some other questions that you do ask, but that make you decide? Or are you a person who's just like, oh, they said they want to take me out, they nice, and then 3 months in, you be like, oh, you live with somebody, because you never asked, And I think in 2023, we need to learn that. Ask the questions. Don't do it. Because you know what it is? Back in the day, you used to ask somebody like, oh, what kind of person do you like? And then people will then start acting like they're that person because they want you to like them. But then they can't uphold it. And now we mad at them because they've sold us something that they not. And we never ask any real questions to get it. We just let us believe that they are something, but we didn't ask any real questions to get follow-ups on, oh, so that is you, or you just going to try to be that so that you can be with me. Because like I said, my friend who used to, the person I used to be friends with back in the day, and he used to say, oh, well, they think they with me. It's like, so she never calls you her boyfriend? So she never be like, my man, I don't know. And I'm just like, what women was talking about? But we was in our 20s. We was in our early to mid 20s. We wasn't thinking. We wasn't thinking. And again, a lot of us already had kids. We really didn't know what we were doing. We were just out here thrown to the wolves, acting like we thought we were grown. We were not. So I don't know what women are asking now. I don't know what men are asking now. I don't know what people are asking now. But I think some of these questions really are good. I don't know which one I don't think is good, to be honest with you. I think too early in, I don't want you to ask me, am I drowning in debt? I'm not drowning in debt, but I don't know if I really wanted somebody to ask me very early in. But I would like to know if you have a job. I do want to know if you have children. I do want to know if today. Let me know if you think you want to have more, because you ain't getting them here. You're not getting a kid over here. I got a grandchild. I'm not having nobody baby. I can tell you that now. So, some of those things I would, I think that we need to be more focused on asking up front instead of, discovering later. Because remember on that episode 11 Hip Hop when Yandy said she was married, and then they all start pulling out, Yandy, you was not married, and then Yandy revealed, oh no, we didn't sign the paperwork because Mendici got a lot of debt going on. And if I get married to him, they gonna pull my money for his debt, and I ain't doing that. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to lose my money for the debts that he got going on. He can pay his debts, and then once he done with the owing the courts and the state and whatever other people he owe, and he clear up his stuff, then we can sign some paperwork to link us together, because I don't want my money involved in his nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And even though I did not like that she lied and acted like she was married and tried to stunt on his baby mamas, I do understand why somebody would not want to, legally get married, because they don't want their money tied up in somebody else's stuff. I get that. But, I think, you gotta cover yourself on lots of things, because you don't want to find out later things that you should know right now. So, again, I thought that the list was interesting. I hope y'all did too. Let me know. Send me an email. It's JusSayinPodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you think about it. If you put something in there, if you let me know what you think, I'll go ahead on and read your statement on the next episode. Well, this has been fun once again. It's me. I'm on social media. I'm definitely heavy on TikTok. It's me, Danny. Come on over there and find me. I'm also on TikTok on Instapod. You can see me on TikTok. Find me over there too. Follow. The YouTube page is going back up. I have to be more committed to myself this year, so the YouTube page is going back up. Look for that in February, not this month, but in February, and we'll be back over there. Also, I'll be back next week, y'all. You've been listening to me, Danny, and it's JusSayin Podcast. Bye.